Hello there. Welcome to another exciting episode of Conan AI. So begins the story The Crimson Tower.
The Crimson Tower. The desert sun blazed like an unrelenting furnace, its heat radiating off the jagged rocks and shifting sands. Conan of Cimmeria, his bronzed skin glistening with sweat, trudged onward, his blue eyes cold and sharp. His journey had led him to the borders of Koth, a land rich with intrigue and danger, where whispered tales spoke of a lost city buried in the desert, a city crowned by the fabled Crimson Tower. The tower was said to hold treasures beyond imagining, guarded by a power older than mankind itself. Few who sought it ever returned, and those who did spoke in broken whispers of the horrors within. But Conan's heart burned with the lust for gold and glory, and he had never been one to heed warnings of doom. As dusk fell, he crested a dune and saw it, the Crimson Tower rising from the ruins of a shattered city, its surface gleaming like blood in the fading light. The sight stirred something primal within him, a mixture of awe and foreboding. By nightfall, he reached the city gates, their ancient stone cracked and weathered. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the distant howl of the desert wind. Drawing his sword, Conan stepped into the ruins, his senses sharp as a wolf's. The city was a maze of crumbling walls and broken statues, their faces worn smooth by time. As he moved deeper, he felt the weight of unseen eyes upon him, and the air grew colder. At last, he reached the base of the Crimson Tower, its surface smooth and unbroken, save for a single arched doorway that yawned like the mouth of a beast. Inside, the air was thick and heavy, carrying the scent of decay. The walls pulsed faintly, as if the tower itself were alive. Conan ascended a spiraling staircase, his footsteps echoing in the oppressive silence. At the top, he entered a vast chamber lit by a dim, crimson glow. Piles of gold and jewels lay scattered across the floor, their luster muted by the eerie light. But at the chamber's center stood a throne of black stone, upon which sat a figure cloaked in shadow. It rose as Conan approached, its movements fluid and unnatural. The figure's face was obscured, but its eyes burned with a malevolent red light. "Who dares disturb the sanctum of Zoltor?" the figure intoned, its voice reverberating like the tolling of a distant bell. Conan's grip on his sword tightened. "I am Conan of Cimmeria, and I take what I desire. If you stand between me and that gold, you'll die like any other man." The figure laughed, a sound devoid of mirth. "Foolish mortal! I am no mere man, but the last high priest of forgotten age. This tower is my dominion, and its treasures are not for the likes of you." With a wave of its hand, Zoltor summoned forth horrors from the shadows. Spectral warriors clad in ancient armor emerged, their eyes glowing with the same crimson fire. They advanced silently, their weapons gleaming in the eerie light. Conan met them head on, his sword singing as it cleaved through ghostly forms. Though his blade struck true, the spectral warriors dissolved only to reform moments later. Realizing the futility of his efforts, Conan turned his attention to Zoltor. "You hide behind phantoms, sorcerer," he growled. "Face me, if you've the spine." Zoltar descended from his throne, his shadowy form solidifying as he drew a blade that shimmered with unnatural light. The clash of steel echoed through the chamber as the two titans met, Conan's raw strength against the sorcerer's eldritch power. Though Zoltar was fast and cunning, Conan's barbarian instincts and unrelenting ferocity proved the greater. With a mighty blow, he shattered the sorcerer's sword and drove his blade into Zoltar's chest. The high priest screamed, a sound that shook the very tower, and his body disintegrated into ash. As the sorcerer fell, the spectral warriors vanished, their forms dissipating like mist in the morning sun. The crimson glow dimmed, and the oppressive weight that had filled the chamber lifted. Conan stood amidst the treasure, his breath heavy but victorious. He filled his pouch with jewels and gold, but his instincts urged him to leave the cursed place. As he descended the tower, he felt it tremble beneath him, as if Zoltor's death had unbound some ancient spell. He emerged into the cool night air just as the Crimson Tower collapsed in on itself, leaving nothing but a mound of rubble. The desert wind howled, carrying away the last remnants of Zoltor's dominion. Conan looked back once, his expression unreadable. "Another sorcerer, another doom," he muttered. "Let them weave their spells and guard their treasures. I'll always be the wolf that tears it all apart. With that, he turned and vanished into the desert, the stolen gold clinking softly in his pouch, the stars above bearing silent witness to the triumph of the barbarian.
Well, I like that one. Out of the Conan stories, that one might be my favorite or one of my favorites. I just liked the environment for this one. The Crimson Tower itself is a cool concept. Um, yeah, yeah. I think Conan got away without another curse or something, so all good for Conan, you know. Um, yeah, maybe a little nod towards Lovecraftian things, being that the sorcerer had eldritch power, but I mean, Lovecraft didn't own the word eldritch, so other things can be eldritch too. I think it just means old for the most part. Fancy word for old. I think it's more like old and forgotten kind of thing, like obscure old, not just ancient, but eldritch, like tucked away. Nobody knows about it, or you didn't know about it. To you, it's just eldritch. I don't know if I'm using that correctly. That sounds somewhat right though. But makes no difference to old Conan there. When it comes down to him and his sword, I always love the straightforwardness of Conan stories. There isn't a whole lot of talk of complicated morality or anything like that. It's just let's grab hold of that sword and let's go. I thought it was fun. Well, next time it'll be another versus episode, so get ready for that. So this has been Joseph Arthur Roszell. Thanking you for listening, and I love you very much, and I wish you all the luck in the world. Peace out.